I wanted to talk about my friend Dave Piechura, who had an interesting history. He unfortunately passed away. I think it was in 2018. Um, but he was he was the first employee of Vintage King. So there was the Mike and Andy Nera that owned the place, and they said they started off with their credit card, which, yeah, maybe, but it doesn't hurt if your dad is a doctor too. They can back up the finances. But they started off the company selling used gear, and Dave Piechura uh, suggested getting new gear in there, and they didn't know if that was a good idea or not. And Dave called and started setting things up. So he was the guy who started the whole Vintage King thing as far as selling new gear. And he was there for, I think it was like 20 years or something like that. He was there for a very long time. I first met him when I went up to Vintage King in 2005, and they all sat down with me, and Dave Piechura was there, and he was a pretty big guy. And we started talking, and we became good friends. But at a certain point, even though he was the first employee and very dedicated and loyal employee of Vintage King, Vintage King let him go. So he was bouncing around in the pro audio industry. He became the national sales manager for Retro and got them going, which is an excellent product line. And then I had him working with me with Fredenstein, trying to get that line going. And then he decided that he was going to work with Alto Moda in Hawaii and see if he could get them going. And he was just such a nice guy. There was even a guitar company that they had a model called the Piechura because just to honor him, because and this while he was alive. He was just a go-getter, but he spent a lot of time building up Vintage King, and they let him go in the end. And I just didn't understand that. There should be some kind of loyalty in this industry. And as big as you are, even if you're not performing as good as some of the other sales guys, if you've been there from the very beginning, help a guy out, I think. So it's just something that's always kind of annoyed me. But he passed away, and there's a lot of people that miss him. But I just wanted to say a little thing about him. So it's my pro audio story. He actually came out to my office and he said, "All right, George, let's go for a ride." And this is when I was in Quakertown, PA. I had my office there, and I said, "All right, where are we going?" And he said, "Let's go up to what's the guy's name? I forgot it's a big music store up in Middletown, New York." And we drove up there to see them, and he did some business with them, and then we drove back. And the whole drive up there was pleasant, and we had all kind of pro audio stories, and he probably would have a ton of stories to tell. But nice guy, and he's going to be missed.